Wait for people to come in. Got a box full of Onondaga here for making arrowheads for flint knapping. Survival bushcraft. This stuff makes great sparks with the flint and steel. I make as many points as I can before my battery runs out. I'm at 50%, so I got a bit. I'm going to be using mostly antler, I think. See how it goes. Still waiting to see people come in. All right. See, does it smell? Oh, wow, that smells strong. Wow. All right. I try to do this with all antler. Can't find my good caribou billet, but this one's pretty good. So this stuff breaks pretty easy. Okay. Saving all these larger flakes. Smells really strong, like petroleum. I try flaking this stuff with those antler down there. Don't know how that's gonna go. You save these for blow darts. Hardest thing about antler is hitting where you're aiming. Didn't hit hard enough there. Try coming in from this side. Whew. Ooh. It's Onondaga, so you gotta hit hard. Raw chert. There we go. Split it. Alright. What can we do here? Have a whole bunch of this stuff. Wow. Tough. I think it's a good thing to switch back to antler tools every now and then. Just to get used to it again. Keep using the antler. Get used to the copper and it goes easy mode after a while. I wish I had a smaller billet for this. Ooh. Jeez. All right. Whew. There we go. Got a line down the middle in this one. That's not good news. Come on. Whew. That does not want to go. So I'm going to hit right here then. Try to get rid of that ridge first. Let's see. I might be able to undercut this to get rid of that freeze crack in there. Or that. All right. Let me grab another piece. Let's see. Maybe we could try some stuff on the lap. Nice big chunk of Onondaga. Nice flake. Nice big flake. Lots of freeze damage in here and stuff. The ridge here doesn't look so good. See, a flake like this makes a really good blow dart point. Maybe I'll show you real quick how I do that. I'm gonna use the tiny antler. This is goat leather. Make sure I got it in frame here. I like to make longer blow dart points because they penetrate in a little bit further if they're longer. It's really pretty simple to work these flakes into something. Something you could use at least. Just really shape it as best you can. Get rid of the junk. Use a smaller piece of leather here. Since this is Onondaga, it like really eats up the antlers. Also slips off a lot. Just flipping it back and forth, popping flakes off. Don't go too thin with creek rock. Stuff you find in creeks will be freeze damaged, easier to break. Just keep taking flakes off, get it into shape. You want a really sharp tip for the blow darts. And the straighter it is, the less chance it has of breaking when you're using it. And I like to put some flakes into the base so that you could haft it easier. Put it into whatever stick you're using. That had a freeze crack in it. Get rid of that. Wow, very freeze cracked. Could make them tiny too, like super tiny. All right, let me go back to that bigger piece. Try the whitetail antler. Take a nice big flake off, perhaps. The caribou antler seems denser to me. Let's try the moose. Nice big moose antler. This stuff seems a little bit chalky, but it would still work. Let's see, which piece do I want to try? Let's try the smaller piece first. If it's chalky like this, it's probably brittle. So if you're hitting it hard, got to be careful. It might snap it right in half. If it snaps it in half, you just make a smaller point. This creek stuff is all pretty brittle. All right, as of right now, I do not have an issue stick with antler or bone in it, but we'll still use it as a antler percussion tool. Yeah, this stuff's brittle. Brittle. Just got to be careful about where I'm shooting flakes. It looks like there's a crack in there. Just make a basic arrowhead here. A bunch of junk right in here. This is a copper nail. It's a little too thin, so it comes loose real easy. Let's see here. I mean, it's working. See how chalky that is? It's coming from this way. Knock some big flakes off. Super irregular flake I got going here at the moment. Whew. All right. Trying to thin it out, zigzagging, taking flakes off both sides. Hitting pretty hard. This is Onondaga chert from New York, so it's tough. Tough rock. Okay. This side I gotta clean up. There we go. That took a nice big flake off. Straight across the piece. Thinned it out. Now I gotta get rid of that. Right here, I'm gonna put the flaker right where that copper mark is. And try to get rid of that little turtle back. Like that. Just thin it out. Just got to be careful because it's brittle. I'm not used to this stone. Yeah, that is very, very brittle. See, I took out too much there. Gotta be careful. Learning on this stuff as best as I can. Man, it's like, it's flaking really nice though. It's just strange material. Yeah, I used to do glass bottles all the time. Whenever I'd find them in creeks, I would knap them. I do want to switch back to the antler flaker as soon as I get the basic shape here. Get the flake pattern going pretty nice there. Let's see. I'll try to give this one a try. Yeah, that flake's nice. See if I could make a basic spear point here. Wow. There we go. With the antler, you have to really set up the platforms better. I'm reading these comments upside down here. Let's say, maybe your rock has a bit of an awkward grain. Yeah, it's strange. It's working though. Get rid of the brittle stuff at the base here. This is going to be a problem right here. Because it's so much higher than the rest of the rock. If you look there, juts up. So get rid of some of that. It is windy and cold up here in Vermont. Man, that broke. All right, let me go to one of these bigger flakes. Like this. Let's see how that goes. Try the moose. The moose is the most dense. Hanging up in the middle. Stick the flaker in there and knock it off. The moose tends to work best for me for indirect. It's really hanging up in the middle though. See if I could fix this area in here with all the freeze damage. Ooh. Gonna hit pretty hard here. There we go. That helped. What's going on, Ben? Man, it's really diving in there. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this and try to make the arrowhead out of that spot. Wow. All right. The Onondaga is usually very freeze damaged. Like this piece of rock I'm working right now tends to fall apart. Let's see, best bet. I'm gonna zigzag to thin it, taking the flakes, shooting them towards the center to thin it. All right. See how it's just falling apart? Like that? Man. I could tell this piece will fall apart. It's got a line going through it. It's got a ton of freeze damage in there. This one has a freeze crack going through the middle, so that's no good. This piece might work. Got to get rid of this cortex. So let's try this piece. Shot these 3 flakes here, got rid of some of that. Come in from the other way. All right. There is a line in this one too, but I think it'll hold together. We'll see. Yep, you can see a freeze crack right in there. So that might be a problem. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let thin that right out. I really like the Onondaga. I like the blue-gray, and I like the smell of the type of shirt. It smells like petroleum oil when you're working it. It's really, this one's really strong, this batch. So if you see a line going through your arrowhead, ancient people also had the lines going through their arrowheads, and often they stayed together. Just keep them on the thicker end, and you shouldn't have a problem. The thinner you go, the more chance of breaking on these. With Onondaga, or like Pennsylvania rock, or just stuff you find in creeks in general, if you see the rock cracking in half in a certain way, just try to work with the rock rather than forcing the rock to be something that it's not. Just thin out that section right there. I'm going to go for a slight lance shape on this one. If it holds together, I'm going to hit right here to get rid of this tiny turtle back. We'll see how that goes. If that holds together, we should be good to go. Cleaned up some of it. Still got a little problem spot right there. Let's see, did that clean it up? Just another crack in there. Crack right there. So I got to keep that area thick. Alright, I'm not going to do too much more indirect because it puts little cracks in the rock as you're working it. And it makes it more likely to snap. This stuff I'm talking about, the Onondaga. in particular. Just trying to thin areas that I know need to be thinned. All right, let me switch back to antler. It's been a really long time since I used antler pressure flakers on stuff like Onondaga. It's tough. I'm just gonna take little flakes, shape it. Let's see. Shape the rest of this tip. It's better if you put these in a handle than trying to just use them like this. I mean, if you were working like obsidian, it would be okay. But stuff like this, you kind of really should be using the antler on a handle just to save your wrist some pain. All right. Some junk in here. I don't know that I'm going to be able to clean that up. If I used indirect, I probably could, but then I'm going to risk snapping it. Let's see. I'll shear off the tip to make the point here rather than there. All right. This stuff and the Norman skill chart are my two favorites. I can't decide which one I like best. It depends on the day, really. You ask me tomorrow, I'll like Norman skill better. Today, this is my favorite. Yeah, that's getting there. Let's see. Trying to think if I should put notches in or make it like a Dalton type thing. I really want to try to get rid of this junk. Maybe I could come in from right there with the indirect. Maybe it won't break. Let's find out. Flatten the one side, yep. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna try to shoot a flake up into that junk there. I'll grind it first. Hopefully it don't fall apart, because I did see some cracks in there and stuff. Let's see, did I get all of it? Got almost all of it. Could have gone a little further. That's pretty good, though. All right. Whew. Let's just sharpen it up now and see what it wants to be. carve this edge off here to make it a little more narrow. Liking how it looks. Cool. You could probably put this on a atlatl dart as is. Just make a little hafting area right here. That would work for sure. Make it a little more symmetrical. Run some flakes on the other side. It's a crooked point. If I get rid of this edge, should straighten it. All right. Come up right in there. Straighten this edge a little more. Could shoot a flake here, but like I said, you don't want to go super thin on a creek rock, especially Onondaga. That junk up here is bothering me, but there's not too much I could do about it. It's just damage to the rock. This side looks pretty good. All right, let's work on the base a little bit. Just want to get that V shape into the base. Yeah. Just have to make it able to be hafted. Ow. And then I want a little tiny barb here right there. Pretty good for Onondaga. This stone is from New York. New York creeks. That's pretty good. That looks like something you'd find. That's sharp as heck. Just sharpen up the tip a little more. To even it out. Okay. I'll probably put this one on one of my hunting arrows, actually. It's not too bad. It's a little long. I'd have to haft it to about up there. That's quite a bit of hafting. Would work really good, though. Take a quick look at that. So that's Onondaga Chert, New York. Smells like petroleum oil. I got a bunch of different rock laying around me here. This is the Norman Skill Chert. I'll show you what this looks like. Yeah, I actually last season I hunted a cottontail rabbit. I actually have a video on it. It's one of my shorts, and I have a full-length video on it as well. This rock is green and black. And tougher. There we go, that's a flake. That's what I look for my hunting points, just to get a nice flake off of a spall like this. And then usually I keep the spall itself as like a knife, if it holds together. I'm not used to using antler tools, so I might break stuff a little more often than I do with the copper tools. The copper tools are way more predictable, in my opinion, to make these nice flakes and such. Let's get some nice flakes with the copper. See, when there's a big ridge like this, you want to shoot a flake down this way to undercut this material. I'll show you what I mean by that. Take a flake off like that. And you see how it lowered this area here? Then you have a spot to hit. Sorry, the text is upside down here. I'm apparently recording upside down. I like antler because of the historic aspect. Yeah, me too, actually. It's just, I wound up hurting my shoulder a few years ago, and it's finally healed up. So I went the easier route with the copper for a long while. So I'm used to using the copper. I'm not so used to using the antler now. So these flakes follow the ridge line. You see that high ridge there? And if you do it right, you could get a nice flake off that follows that ridge. Like that. Then you just keep working it down. Get rid of the damaged material. Got a nice sharp edge there, like super sharp. I'm gonna go back to antler, mess around with it, see what I could come up with. Why not make a spearhead out of that antler? Yeah, I do that too. I enjoy the stonework more than I do grinding bone and stuff like that. I know a guy on Instagram that grinds the stone into arrowheads and hunts with them. His name's NW Primate. Does some cool stuff with stone. Man, this stuff's eating up the antler. Do you see that? A high spot right there. There we go. Whew. Trying to make this piece thin so I could use it as a knife. It's got a lot of problems in the back. You can see that there. All this crud. Make sure I don't lose that. All right, I'm gonna hit right here to try to get rid of that tiny turtle back. And you're hitting with antler on weird rock like that, it's bound to break, but sometimes you get lucky and it doesn't. All right. See how I got rid of that whole bump there? Much better. I think I'm gonna get rid of most of this here, like that, to try to get rid of the crummy material there. It's gonna be hard running flakes into that mess. This side looks nice though. Whew, let's see. This is Norman Scale Chert from New York. Really kind of tough stuff. Makes really nice flakes for arrowheads though, and it's super, super sharp. You can see it's cutting up my hand. You can almost see through it in the edges. It's so sharp. All right. So now I'm going to see if I could run some flakes into this junk. It's kind of thin near the tip, so I don't know if I'll be able to get rid of that junk or not. I also don't know how far this stuff goes in. Let me switch to copper for this. See if I could salvage it. I'm just trying to get rid of the junk. I know I could go like this. Make a platform that way. I don't know what this stuff is. I might be able to get rid of it. We'll see. Get rid of some of it there. Just make a spearhead out of this. Yeah, it's pretty grainy. I'm gonna try coming in from this way and get rid of some of that. If you could get rid of most of it, if you get rid of most of that junk, the knife still works pretty good. Let's see. If I break it, I'll just make an arrowhead. If I could only get right there now. Try near the tip. Junk, man. This is what the paleo guys used up in New York. Really wonder if I could just power past this junk. Might be able to. I'm gonna try coming in from the tip. This will probably be the last thing I'm napping today because my battery's getting low here. What's the best material to make a spearhead? I like the tougher stuff because if I miss with something like this, it doesn't break if it hits a tree. It'll break if it hits a rock, but like if it hits a tree or bone, it doesn't break. Anthropology student. It's so cool to see this. Yeah, I've been teaching some college courses on this stuff up in the Northeast here. Wow, that's really junk in there. See if I could salvage it. Yikes. Damn. Ah. Alright. Gonna try to fix this spot with indirect. Let's see. Use the moose. It's kind of doing it. It's not terrible. It's not... I mean, I could use this. Just got so much of this crud in it. Hung up in the middle there. That's better. Gotta be careful near the tip. It has like some shale inclusions. Cleaned up a lot of that junk. Just gotta thin this section here. try a hit right across the base to try to get rid of that little lump. Man, there's some real junk in this one. It's nice and sharp, though. It's extremely sharp. Sharpen it up a little bit more, even. This one holds together. I'll put it on a handle and put it up for sale. My Etsy store. I know a lot of people that, myself included, use these stone knives for hunting. Works really good. The Wooded Beardsman on YouTube uses one I made. So the tip does have like shale in it. I don't really want to lose length. This is about the size I use for my small game, like the rabbit or squirrels. Let's see if I could pressure flake some of it up. Try to get rid of some of that shale near the tip. Try the smaller antler. Buried my antler tools in flakes. Yeah, that would work. That's sharp. It's just going to be a little more brittle near the tip because of that junk that was in there. Trim up the edge now. Paleo guys did have tools like this. They were often not flaked on both sides though. But a paleo blade would look something like that, unifaced blade. This side wouldn't have any flaking. This side would. Or like minimal flaking. All right. Just kind of evening it out now. Ah, man. I am really not used to the antler tools. Let's see. Sharp as heck, though. Yeah, I like it. I was not expecting this piece to have a decent final outcome, but it's looking pretty good, I think. do want to try to get rid of this lump right here. All right. Be careful here because I'm working the base. Likely to snap if you hit too hard. All right. See if I could run a flake right in there. Yep, like that. One more. There we go. Should work this edge down to make it an even triangle. Don't like that hinge in there, but whatever. It's 13% battery. Gonna have to be done in a minute. Wasn't expecting to do a super long video today, but kind of got into the groove of this. No, I've not tried that. Not too bad. For what it was, this is a pretty good outcome for such a weird piece of rock. So this is Onondaga here, Onondaga chert from New York. And this is Norman Skill chert from New York. Thanks, Lincoln. Let's see, can I do a... Wondering if I could do a cut test for you. Let's stick this under my leg. Good piece of the leather. Sharp as heck. Whew. Perfect. Perfect for me, at least. All right, guys. Let's say one more comment. Let me spin this around so I could read the comments real quick. Yeah, this piece here has a lot of weird stuff in it, but that would work as is. Let me scroll back through the comments here. Yeah, the flakes often work really good for skinning and stuff, but if you're trying to cut a lot of meat and cut around bones and stuff, I find that this works really, really good, especially like a shape like that. Just making sure I didn't miss any comments here. This stuff doesn't work for cooking, by the way. If you heat this rock, it just turns really brittle and kind of falls apart. Alright guys, that's it for me. Yeah, I'm going to be doing more live streams. These seem to be working out. I get more views on the live streams than I do on my regular videos. I don't know what's up with the regular videos, but shorts and live streams get seen. So I guess that's what I'll be doing. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Give a sub if you haven't subbed. See more stuff like this. Check out my older videos if you would like to. And have a good one. I'll be back soon.